Hello, welcome back to watching me put makeup on my face. I just got a package in the mail today that included this palette from Beauty Bay, and it's all pastels. I also got some lip liners and some pastel eyeliners. The lip liners aren't pastel, just the eyeliners are pastel. So I'm gonna put the pastels in my eyes today because why not? I'm gonna start by priming my eyes with Urban Decay Primer Potion in Eden. I plan to try to keep my lid either blank or I'm gonna try to maybe I'll gradient it out. I was gonna just leave my lid blank, but maybe I'll do a gradient. I'm gonna take this flat brush from Sigma. It's just like a squared off, what do they even call it? Does it say on here? It is a flat definer brush, the E15, if you were wondering. I'm gonna take Euphoria on that flat brush. I'm gonna dip into this pretty heavily because pastels aren't typically like super like vibrantly pigmented because they're pastels. And I'm just gonna kind of draw a line with it just above my natural crease, making that like kind of rounded shape. That's pretty light. Let's try Lovesick, which is the darker pink, right on top. Oh, that's a little better. You can see that a little better. And I'm gonna give my brush a quick wipe in my color switch sponge just to get most of that pink off there. And then I'm gonna take Daydream, which is the like lavender in here. And I'm gonna start that kind of where the pink is started and follow that same just above my natural crease. And I'm gonna take, what does that say? Cloud Free, which is like the light blue, and wing that out to the tail of my brow. Dipping a little back into that purple because we lost it a little. And then I'm gonna take that really light, the lightest pink again, Euphoria, and just kind of put that right into my inner corner, continuing that line. These would pop better on a white base. I don't think I have a white eye primer though. Would be helpful if you were using lots of pastels though, because they don't tend to be the most vibrant. Because that's not quite as like high impact as I was hoping it would be, I'm gonna take those same colors and fill in my lid with them. So we're gonna take this flat shader brush and I'll start with the lightest pink Euphoria. I'm gonna dip pretty heavily into that because it's already kind of not showing up that much on my brush. Okay, that's not bad. That's showing up a little more. Take a little of that darker pink. That's showing up a lot better on the brush. Fill in that inner section of my lid. Wipe that brush off my color switch. And I'm gonna take Daydream, the lilac again, the lilac-y lavender. Fill in that space. Kind of blend between those two with the purple to help them mix together a little. I'm going back in with the lightest pink just to kind of make sure that that pink doesn't get lost, because it seems like the pink wants to blend into purple like a fair amount. The funny thing is a fair amount of color like comes off of my brush in my color switch, but it's not really depositing on my eyes, so a stickier base might be better. Maybe a glitter glue might help it if you don't want to make it super blended. If you wanted to do a fairly like watercolor looking eye, these would be lovely for that because they're pretty light. I'm going to take Cloud Free again and draw kind of like a line with that to connect to that little wing shape I made. And then I'll take Cloud Free again on that flat packing brush and fill in that little spot. I wonder if I took these on my finger, if that would help them a little. The shadows are really soft. They almost feel like silky. So they're not like super sticking to the skin. That's better. I like that better with a finger. Not losing the concentration of the color quite as much. And then really gently, I'm gonna kind of blend between the center with barely any pressure at those seams. I'm gonna try, I have a feeling Serenity, this like more acid green. I don't think that's gonna show up great. I'm really curious about the yellow too. I'm gonna try the yellows and green. I'm gonna take, let's start with First Light, the yellow, in that inner portion of my eye and see how that goes. Oh yeah, that's barely showing up. I wasn't expecting these to be wildly vibrant because they are pastels after all, but I was expecting a little more than what they're giving me. The pinks and purples I think were fine for pastels, but this yellow is kind of disappointing, especially as somebody who loves yellow. Especially because when I wipe the brush off of my color switch, like a lot of pigment comes off, but like barely anything gets put down on my eye. It's interesting. So I'm gonna take Serenity, that like acid green, load up my brush as much as I can with it. Okay, that one's not too bad considering the color, because those kind of like acid greens are really hard to get right, I find. Like there's not a lot of options in makeup for that kind of green, for good reason, because nobody makes them because they're hard. And then let's try Days, which is the darker green. It's not quite a mint. And I'll wing that out towards my brow like I did on the other side. And this time, because I know I'm going to fill it in, I'm gonna fill in that liner part now. The yellow and the acid green are looking very similar on the eye. I'm curious to try these again, but with a glitter glue down first. And on this side, instead of using that flat brush, I'm gonna try this pencil brush because it's pretty densely packed, and we'll see if I get any better payoff from that. No. Just watching me struggle. This is the fun part of buying makeup, is you never know what you're gonna get. You get stuff to try and sometimes it doesn't really work out. I think the next time I try this palette, which will be, I'm gonna try it again tomorrow and see what happens. I'm gonna try to put Tarte Shape Tape on my eye on one side and glitter glue on the other, because my Shape Tape is a really, really light. I don't have a white base, but my Shape Tape is probably the closest I have to a white base. And I wanna see if that would make a difference. Because these are kind of disappointing. That green is barely visible. I'm interested to watch this footage back and see what these colors look like. I hope they're like actually somewhat visible. Just kind of packing that on. And to be honest, I'm really surprised by the blue, because I feel like blues are not a hard color to make. I get that pastels have a lighter, like a white base to them, so they aren't always super vibrant, but like I feel like these definitely could have been done better. Oh well, I guess that's what I get. This palette was like $10. And it'll do for pastels for me. Just kind of going back in with all those colors and trying to pack them on a little more. The yellow is really sad though. Like, thanks, give us nothing. I'm curious, because if I was gonna use, like this was packing these colors on and they're this light, but I'm really curious if you try to blend these, like they would blend into nothing. I'm confident they'd blend into nothing. You would not be able to see them. Like that's okay, I guess. The pink, purple, blue side definitely worked out a little better. The yellow is really, really sad. It's really patchy. I can see like right through it. I'm gonna put on some concealer, and then I'll do the rest of my face too. Like I'm gonna put on some concealer, some blush, highlight, and my brows. And I'll come back and we'll do the lower lash line together. And we are back. I want to take these same colors and go along with lower lash line. We'll try the light pink Euphoria first. I don't know if that's gonna do much though, because it's pretty light. No, let's take the darker pink on top. And then purple, Daydream. And then blue, Cloud Free. Of all these colors that I've tried, the blue might be the strongest, honestly. Okay, I'm literally just wiping my brush off on my PJ pants because, like, why not? No one sees me. It's fine. Okay, and mimic that on the other side. I'm like so sure that these colors will come out in the wash from my PJ pants. I'm not worried. Oh, on my face, I guess I should tell you what I did. I used, on my cheeks, I used Carousel from the Likely Makeup Clown Blush palette. For highlight, I used the Give Me Glow Cosmetics White Noise highlighter. It's like super duper metallic. It's just like a white gold. On my under eyes, I used the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer in Vanilla and loose powder on my under eyes. I also got these liners from Beauty Bay when I ordered. I kind of hate that there's no like difference in the packaging. They're all just the exact same. They don't have any. I like when there's like a lid or something that shows you the color, or the packaging itself is the color. For these I have to actually check, which isn't a huge deal, but like it's kind of annoying. Like I think Aurora was a purple. Yeah, let's try this lavender one on the pink purple blue side, and we'll do Minted on the other side. These are like an automatic style pencil. They're not wooden. That only kind of showed up. That might be better on the lid and not so much the waterline, because I don't love it. It wasn't soft enough. Let's see how this one goes. That didn't go great either. Okay, well, don't recommend the Beauty Bay eyeliners, at least not the pastel ones. Not for waterline anyway. I put them on my hand earlier just to swatch them, and they actually stayed on. Like the purple is still a little bit there even after I showered. They didn't smudge. So those might be better for like just drawing on your lid and not doing a waterline, because that wasn't great. But let's try one of these lip liners. The lip liners have some like mark on them of what color they are. This is Toast, and these are a wooden pencil, so we'll see how soft these are. Lip liner seems fine. Not overly creamy, but not super stiff, not too waxy. Those are fine. Those are probably my favorite thing I've used so far. The palette I'm kind of on. I'm gonna put Tower 28 gloss in Cashew on top of that liner. Oh, we have to put mascara on. I always forget mascara because I'm so used to having lash extensions. Okay, well, that is my face finished. That's me trying the Beauty Bay Pastels palette for the first time. And a couple other things of theirs for the first time. This isn't my like end all be all, the final verdict on that palette by any means, or the liners, because I want to try them in different capacities to see if I'd like the way they perform a little better. The palette, I think definitely you need a lighter base. I just had like kind of my skin tone color base, which is granted like pretty fair. But I think I want to do either my Shape Tape or glitter glue in the future. Palette was, I think regular price, it's like 10 euros from Beauty Bay. I got it, I think 30 or 40% off. So I think it might have been like 6 euros, which I think would be like maybe 12 bucks Canadian. So like it's really not bad price wise. And it does work, like it's not unusable by any means. So it wasn't a total waste of money. I will use it again. And I think if you want to like try the pastel like trend but don't want to get a super expensive palette to try it, this one's fine. Honestly, you probably could find other pastels from like ColourPop, except the hard part is the ColourPop ones aren't like all pastel palettes. Like this one is nice because it's just pastel. The liners I wouldn't use for a waterline liner. They're too hard. They're not waxy, but they're a little too stiff. The lip liners are fine. Lip liners are lip liners. They're not overly soft. They're not overly stiff. They weren't too waxy. I think that's all. Ooh. See that and have it not be blurry, but have a great like weekend, or hope you're enjoying your lockdown. Bye.